Hey everybody, today I'm taking a look at the all-new 2020 Highlander. This is one of the biggest launches in the three-row crossover segment because the Highlander is one of the best-selling three-row crossovers in America. And for 2020, Toyota has completely redesigned this vehicle. Aside from sharing a displacement of 3.5 liters under the hood and essentially the same 8-speed automatic transmission that we saw before, everything else about this Highlander is all new. The first thing you're going to notice is the all-new style to the front end. This is definitely more elegant than the outgoing model, and kind of an interesting sort of way, I'm seeing a little bit of Subaru in this front end. Let me know what you think about that down there in the comment section below. All models get LED headlamps. The top end version, which is what we're driving here, has steering LED headlamps that are also auto leveling, but all versions, including the base L trim, are going to get LEDs as well. Out back, we find styling cues that are definitely more refined, a little bit softer than what we see in the RAV4, so fewer harsh lines back here, more flowing design overall. Front, this model has a quilted texture to the leather. You can see that there's crosshatch stitching right there along with the pattern of those perforations. These seats are both heated and ventilated. The biggest news for this interior is, of course, this absolutely enormous touchscreen infotainment system right here in the dash. This is a 12.3-inch LCD. Now, this is not the standard LCD screen for the Highlander. This is optional. You'll only find it in the top two trims of the Highlander. That's a little bit different than we see in some new vehicles out there for 2020, like the Outback and the Legacy, that give us an enormous screen in most of the trims. The steering wheel is a new design for Highlander. It's similar to what we've seen in some of Toyota and Lexus's new models, however. We have a pretty traditional console shifter back here. Drive is all the way down like that. Manual mode is over to the left. We push away from the driver for gear up. Two pretty large cup holders there. There's no lid over them. And then we find the drive mode adjustment buttons right there behind the shifter. There's a toggle that allows us to switch between sport, normal, and eco modes that mainly affects the way the engine and transmission interact with one another. There's a button to disable the traction control, a snow mode button right over there, hill descent control, a button to disable the auto start-stop system that is standard on all V6 models, the electric parking brake option, and auto brake hold. If you're a family with young children in forward-facing child seats, then you should know that the Highlander still does not offer a second row seat that allows you to keep that child seat latched into place and still tilt and slide the seat forward because it moves in this particular fashion. If you want to get your hands on a Highlander, this will be available on dealer lots December 18th of this calendar year. But it's going to be more expensive than the last generation Highlander. It's going to start at $34,600 for the base L trim. That is significantly higher than the base price on the last generation Highlander, and the main reason for that is the standard feature content that we find on this model. It no longer starts out with a 4-cylinder engine. We now get the V6 standard, we get the 8-speed automatic standard, we get the larger infotainment system standard, a lot of extra standard equipment, but that base price is notably higher than before. And that also means that the base price of the Highlander for 2020 is going to be significantly higher than the base price that we see in most of its direct competition, like the Honda Pilot, which starts at $31,550, the Kia Telluride, which starts at $31,690, and of course the Hyundai Palisade as well. Now, the Pilot, Telluride, and Palisade all start with a V6 engine as well, and feature content is not too far off the base Highlander. The Highlander does give us more standard equipment in that base model than we find in base models of the competition, but the difference is not going to be quite as large as you might think. On the other hand, when comparing this against something like the GMC Acadia, the Acadia still starts with a 4-cylinder engine, so definitely keep that in mind. When you work your way up into the V6, then the price tag does get closer to the base Highlander. Now, when you take a look at something like the Honda Pilot, to get similar feature content to the base Highlander, you have to work your way up to the EX trim, which is $34,430, so just about the same price as the base Highlander. Just keep in mind, we don't have that absolute base trim anymore. Now, you will have to wait, of course, until we can get our hands on the Highlander for a complete week so we can run it through our usual battery of comparisons and tests. But it's easy to see that the Highlander is a very compelling entry in this segment, especially the all-new hybrid model, which is incredibly efficient. Over 35 miles per gallon in daily driving in that particular model. When it comes to value, there are some excellent options in this segment, most notably the all-new Kia and the all-new Hyundai. They're definitely big on the inside, and I think the Telluride is very attractive and very, very well equipped as well. Hyundai and Kia have had excellent reliability reputations, but if I had to put my name on a particular product as far as reputation goes, I would suspect this Highlander is still going to beat the Telluride and the Palisade when it comes to overall reliability. So if you're after absolute reliability, that's probably what you're going to find in the Highlander. We also have some really nice interior touches here. I think the overall quality of the components is a little bit above what we see in the Telluride, although I do like the design in the Telluride just a little bit more than the Highlander.